Hello, everybody, and welcome to Asgard, and I have yet another movie review for all of you out there. I've been a very good Odin, have been watching a lot of films, and this is another one that was sent to me by Bruce, and it is, of course, called From Paris with Love, starring John Travolta and Jonathan Rhys Meyers. Not sure if I'm saying that middle name correct. It's either Jonathan Rhys or Jonathan Rhys Meyers. He is an actor who's been in a lot of things. If you look up his name, you'll say, oh, and I recognize that guy from a few things. But anyway, this is a movie that was done in association with Luc Besson. Or Besson, Luc Besson, I'm imagining is probably the pronunciation of his name. I honestly have no idea. But I've actually never really been a huge fan of his work. He's done things like The Fifth Element, which were fun. He's also done films like more recently, in 2019, he did the film Anna, which essentially seemed like a carbon copy of the film he did called Lucy. I'm sure that there was differences in the story and plot, but it seemed to have a very similar vibe to it. I've never seen Lucy. I just never had a desire to see it. I never saw Anna either, though I did hear many people say Anna was better than what the trailers made it out to be. It's just one of those films that just kind of went under my radar. But this film right here was not a fully produced film by him. It was a film that he co-wrote. He did not direct it. He did not have seemingly as much of an influence on it like he's had with other films, like even Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, another film that I actually did see, just did not like it a whole lot. He has a very unique way of making films, always a unique way of storytelling, and sometimes it works, like with The Fifth Element, and sometimes it just falls flat on its face, like with Valerian. Because that one was just very poorly cast. You know, the story could have been great, but the visual effects to me fell flat because it just looks so CGI, and whenever they try and over CGI films, it always just bothers me a whole lot. But that's why I actually thoroughly enjoyed From Paris with Love. I thought that it was a very well-made movie. Having him only in the background as a co-writer on the film, I think probably helped with it. And just like with previous films that I've talked about, I think that this film really is grounded by the performance here by John Travolta. John Travolta gives another one of those just over-the-top performances. He's got the bald head going, he's got the goatee, and he's just a badass, right? So basically, from what we can gather from the plot, he plays someone that is obviously working for some type of intelligence organization for the American government, and so he is an operative, and he basically has a license to kill because he kills a lot of people in this movie in very gruesome, bloody fashion. At one point, literally shoots a woman in the head because she's a spy, and it's just great. I mean, it's one of those things where it's just fun, you know, kind of just mindless entertainment, mindless fun, and that's what you always want to see in these types of films, because if it takes itself too seriously, then it just gets boring, and if it's too goofy, if it's too out there, then it can't be enjoyed. I think this one finds a nice balance between being over the top but also having some grounded as well. And I think one of the things that helps with that is the dynamic between the two actors, Jonathan Meyers and John Travolta, because John Travolta's over the top nature is measured and is balanced by the very low profile Jonathan Meyers, who gives a very subtle performance here. And I think having that dynamic between the two is great. I do love how there is a great reference here at one point in the movie, actually in 2 points in the movie, to the movie Pulp Fiction. I know, kind of a weird movie to be referenced here, but if you watch this movie, you'll get the reference pretty immediately if you've seen Pulp Fiction, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I was like, oh, that's some on-the-nose stuff that only fans of John Travolta would probably be able to pick up on, but I thought it was great the way they were able to handle that. This movie is overall pretty good. This is a film from 2010. As I mentioned, John Travolta, Jonathan Meyers. Weird handheld style. So in the very beginning of the film, I had some issues with the cinematography because the opening shots and sequences are done almost entirely using this handheld shaky cam style, and I just hate that style of filmmaking when it's done too much to not serve any purpose whatsoever. So for the opening sequence, that was bothering me, but for the rest of the film, it was very well shot, put together. They did not luckily use that handheld style, that really shaky cam throughout the entirety of the film. I will say, though, the only issues I had with the filmography, or rather with the cinematography throughout the movie, was that any time during an action scene, they did so many quick cuts, and it was obviously because John Travolta did not do a lot of his own stunts, and so to try and hide the fact that he can't actually kick ass, they had to do these quick cuts, and I've always not liked it when films do that. That's why I love when there's movies with Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise does a lot of his own stunts, and so you don't have to do that kind of quick cutting because it's the actor doing the stuff himself. I've just never really liked that. I mean, obviously John Travolta can only do so much. He's not really a trained martial artist to my knowledge, or ability to fight in a real way. So they kind of have to do those things to make the movie work. But it just always bothers me whenever they have those type of quick cuts fight scenes, because it just takes away from the movie a little bit. As far as any other issues with the actors go, and again, but I think that John Travolta makes up for that lack of training with just his over the top, awesome personality. Again, just I always love when he puts us all into a movie role like this. For the other actor, though, Jonathan Myers, he's obviously, to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure, because if not, he speaks very weird, but he's not an American actor, but he has an American accent. And in the very beginning, you listen to it, you think, that guy's not American. There's a very, very weird way that he does the American accent where it just sounds so forced. Like, it just sounds like he's trying to sound American, and it doesn't sound natural at all. So I had some issues with that because it was very distracting for me at the very least. That's something that most people could probably look over, but for me, it bothered me a little bit. I wrote down here, Travolta is great, and I think I wrote that down. I would have written it down even more so if I had more room on my paper, because it just, seriously, every time that dude was saying stuff, going off on tangents, rants, going off on his fights, when it wasn't quick cutting, it was freaking awesome, man. So From Paris with Love, I would say, is a good time action film with some comedy laid throughout it as well. There's actually some really interesting twists and turns that I personally did not see coming, which I thought was very good. I think it added to the story a lot. The ending, I think, is very well done too. It really shows the development of a character, and I like how even the characters kind of reference the fact that they are so different and that they help balance each other out and kind of help each other grow in this various ways. I mean, Travolta is just off the hinges the entire movie, but to see his character interacting with Jonathan Myers creates a lot of comedy. It's kind of like an action movie's version of a comedy, where you have, of course, the over-the-top performer, and then you have the straight man, right? The person that is just very low-key, very just, straight-laced and, prim and proper. But that's what makes the funny. Like, that's what makes the comedy, because you have these two different dynamics working together. They are able to do that, but in an action film format that I think is actually very interesting. Now, is it the best written film out there? No. Is it a film that should have won Oscars or awards or Raven Awards or anything like that? No, probably not, as far as like for writing and stuff. But I can say it is a damn good time, and I'm gonna give the film a solid B. It's a film that I could definitely see myself returning to watch in the future, especially since I started to get a little distracted towards the middle of the film because I had a lot of things going on at home, so I think I missed a couple parts in the middle. But overall, it was very entertaining, and yeah, I would actually recommend this film as a fun little film that if you just want to turn your brain off for a little bit, enjoy John Travolta being crazy, this is the film for you. But let me know your thoughts. Have you seen From Paris with Love with John Travolta? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you like this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe. It helps me out a lot. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless. And now to give a special shout out to my March Patreon and Subscribe Star members: animation commentator Brian P., Dion, David Brobrizik, Divex, Elizabeth M., Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Honker Chunker Funky Monkey, Inflame Wood, Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, J.J. Jonathan Jerembeck, Kenneth Camiel, Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Riff Racer Request, Rosetta Allen, Sir Lancelato, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, and Tina B for Patreon, and my Subscribe Star peeps: Robert Revo, Larry, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Dark Star 57, Alex McCarthy, US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadan G. Adams, and ZK Man, and Mike Jackson. Thank you all so much for being my Patreon and Subscribe Star members for the month of March. You are all amazing people. Thank you so much for the support, and I hope that you are enjoying your perks. If you do not know the perks that you get, make sure you read again through all the perks that are listed, and also check your messages if you're over on Patreon, because if you are a $5 and up backer on Patreon, you get special access to giveaways over on the Discord. I send out messages with a link to join the Discord server. I will then hook you up over there, and you'll have access to some really cool giveaways. I give away 4Ks, Blu-rays, digital codes, try and give away at least a couple of big movies, 4K Blu-ray titles a month, and try to do at least 2 to 3 giveaways for when it comes to digital download codes. And I might try and do a little bit more this month as well, because I'm always trying to add extra stuff to it. And also, if you are a $10 or up backer, then you have access to a special podcast that I'm starting to do with John the Flick Pick. That's right, John Flickinger of the Flick Pick channel. We're having a lot of fun with the podcast, and so expect that every couple weeks. And of course, also any extra behind the scenes, extra footage, extra interviews, extra solo podcasts as well, you will also have access to. And my special $25 and up backers on Patreon Subscribe Star, you have access to all of those things that I've listed. You also get a t-shirt. That's right, I will send you a t-shirt for your first month. And of course, you can also be featured on the Chosen of Valhalla live stream once a month. You get to be featured on the Odin's movie blog channel. It's always usually on a Sunday around 12 p.m. Eastern time. You get to join some lovely peeps and have some really great discussion with all of the Chosen of Valhalla and me with the live audience. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.